Oh yes, people! Happy Saturday night, folks! It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with another cheeky little stream for you lads and lasses with all the evening's roundup of the Manchester United goings on and latest news and transfer news, etc. We've got you covered in the next hour or so with the latest goings on. We'll keep you posted exactly what's happening at this football club. Get in there, my son. Thank you for everybody for joining us and getting in here for the show and waiting for us to start, you bunch of legends. Hope you're enjoying your Saturday night. Get in there. Do us a favour at the start of this show. Smash that like button on it. That's right. Give us a huge, massive thumbs up at the start of this show. We've got like 80 legends in here waiting for us to get going. You're a bunch of legends, by the way. Twat that thumbs up if you haven't done so. Give us a like. Give us a share around on social media as well. You can tweet the pinned tweet to the live chat there. It's pinned at the top of the live chat there. Go and give us a cheeky little retweet. We'll shout you out later. But hello to you all. Thanks for getting in. Mark N, United 90, Uncaged Squid. How you doing, Lucky Singh? Get in there. Aaron as well. Thanks for putting the link to the Twitter in there. Easy Home Cooking. Yes, indeed. Must Play. How you doing, Colin? Edward, Lucky Singh, United, Alan Carter, Paul Ellis. Let's go. Jeff Bezos. You did get gifted a membership, mate. Yes, indeed. Somebody sorted you out there. It was probably Gungshi or AML or some legend. Hey, it's John Vallandigham, sorry. He's going to be available most likely towards the end of August or even the start of September, mate. Looks like 2 to 3 weeks. He will not be available for, which is a shame, but hopefully sooner. You never know. But that's the time frame we're working on. All these legends in the live chat you can see on your screen. Thank you, every single one of you legends, for getting in here. I appreciate you, lads and lasses. Oh, yes. AML, there he is indeed. It probably came from AML. What a don. Or Gungshi. But get in there, you legends. Thank you very much for joining the show. I appreciate you all. Thanks for joining. Yes, do smash the like button. Get involved throughout the show as well. We will be getting in and out the chat as we do and seeing what you legends are saying about all the different topics we're discussing. And then we have a big Q&A at the end of the stream as well. So, look forward to that, my friends. Right, let's talk about the transfer news. Obviously, the game today, we'll just have a little bit of a chat about that, I guess, for a minute. But RC Lens putting up a stern competition. They did have a good first half against us. It's a shame to see Onana getting chipped. Diogo Dalot sharting the absolute bed there, though. I love Andre Onana's quotes after the game about what a fantastic place it is to play football at Old Trafford and that it breathes football. Hopefully he's going to maybe get some of these errors out of his system in the pre-season. Not that was really his fault today, but obviously nobody likes to get chipped from distance. Garnacho was fantastic, wasn't he? The team needs to step up, but the second half was much better. We've got a game tomorrow, which I have set up the watch along for. We'll be back on tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. So come and join us for the game. Obviously, Manchester United versus Athletic Bilbao live from Dublin. We'll be watching that on the channel. Get in there, my son. We're 1 weekend away from the Premier League being back, baby. Next weekend, it's on. Oh, yeah, it's on like Donkey Kong next weekend, my friends. We're gonna smash up those Wolverhampton blunderers. That's the hope, anyway. We'll see. But he did remain accountable. You're right, Kerry E. Good evening, Chloe. Well, there you go, United. Errors. Obviously, he got chipped against, was it Real Madrid? Yeah, Bellingham's done him. He did get chipped again today. I won't blame him for that, though. I personally will blame mostly Diogo Dalot, but obviously it's just the nature of Andre Onana's play, which is potentially going to invite that level of opportunity. Right, let's get stuck in then, guys, to the transfer news. Anyway, obviously, the game earlier, yeah, we've already talked about that a little bit. But hello, everyone. So, Manchester United, Sofyan Amrabat. Let's be having you. Things are hotting up nicely, my friends. Oh, yeah. Set your bacon mode to sizzle and let's start smelling that lovely, crispy, sizzling bacon, my friends. Oh, yes. It's hotting up. And very soon we're hoping that Manchester United are going to pounce with an opening gambit of an offer very, very soon. We'll give you all the latest updates right now. So there are various reports far and wide that suggest that what we said about a week ago or so, essentially that there was already an agreement in place between the player and Manchester United. So it's understood that Fiorentina midfielder Sofyan Amrabat already has an agreement in place with Manchester United and is now waiting for them to make an offer, official bid for him. So get in there. Obviously, we reported this a little while ago. There are various different outlets suggesting that this is the case. And we're just sort of going through the motions here in regards to Sofyan Amrabat. We're waiting for the right time to go in with a bid after Hojlund's been wrapped up, obviously, which is very, very nice that that's done now. But we are waiting, of course, for Man United to go and actually put a bid in. There's some reports that we've already discussed the availability of Sofyan Amrabat to Fiorentina, and Fiorentina are understood to essentially have named their price with Manchester United. So here's another report this evening that says that Fiorentina have named their price for midfielder Sofyan Amrabat, and apparently they want to get around about £30 million for the guy. Let's ask the live chat, how much do you think this guy's worth, peeps? Let us know in the live chat in terms of pounds sterling. I'd say 30 million is about bang on, really. If that's what they want, then we'll be quite happy with it. Because obviously 30 million pounds is about 35 million euros. They want 35 million euros. We could pay 30 million pounds, which is about 35 million euros. And then everybody's happy. They can get the money that they need to go and reinvest. We can get our player bargain signing compared to some of these guys that we are, looking at, obviously, compared to like even Mason Mount or Declan Rice, who's gone to Arsenal. He's definitely worth more than what we could potentially get him for. So it seems like Fiorentina are prepared to play ball at a reasonable price here. They are not asking for too much at this moment. And even if they did ask a little bit more, it's part of the negotiations. Will they actually be able to get more than that? Very unlikely. So let's have a look at this then. So 18 million says UK Strains. It's 25 plus 5, I think it said, but he's worth 35 to 40. There you go, Edward Reed. 28 says Neil. 25 to 30. 32 million says Stuart Stormtrooper Waller. He's worth 35. 30, buy him now, don't piss about. I completely agree with you. It is a great deal, isn't it, there, Edward Reed, compared to what you see other teams doing and other players going for. Amrabat represents a very good value transfer for Manchester United right now. Plus, he does have that link with Eric Ten Hag, which just adds a little bit extra juice to the deal. He's worth 105 million, but if they want us to pay 30 mil, fine. 25 says Josh Lee. 40 says Paul Ennis. Get it there, my son. 30 says Kieran. Yes, indeed. Absolute bargain compared to Declan Rice. Definitely. I mean, even if Declan Rice is marginally better, which I don't think he is, actually. I think Sofyan Amrabat, with 4 years extra added experience, and from what we've seen, obviously haven't seen a great deal of him, but from what we've seen from Morocco and obviously, bits and bobs, he looks like a real baller. Looks like somebody who's got that combative nature to him, loves to tackle, but also brilliant passing range. Yes, he's older than Declan Rice, but that means he's actually more experienced than in the best years of his career now. 26 to 30 for a midfielder should be about the best years you can possibly hope for, and we would be getting him at 26 years of age for the next 4 or 5 seasons. So that'd be absolutely amazing. 25 to 30. It's a steal. It's a deal. It's a sale of the friggin' century. Get him in there, United. Come on. So Fiorentina reportedly want a fair price for this guy, and there is expected that a bid will be approaching very, very soon from Manchester United. So various outlets reporting that we are really hot in terms of days for Sofyan Amrabat to Manchester United. Amrabat has agreed his contract at United, and the official bid to Fiorentina is coming. It's expected to be 25 million euros plus bonuses. As I mentioned, they may ask for a little bit more. Personally, I think they will get a little bit more as well, just because there's so much good value in this deal. So we may well go in with a 25 million offer to begin with, and then 5 million in add-ons in terms of euros, which takes us up to 30 million euros. But I think fundamentally we'll probably end up having to pay a little bit more. But I think as long as we don't pay more than 35 million euros, it's a heck of a deal for Man United. About 30 million pounds is our tops that we should be looking to spend. I say that, but when you look at other deals, actually, what actually players and teams are paying for certain players, it's not beyond the realms of possibility to think we could pay 35 to 40 million pounds. That wouldn't bother me either to get this guy in, because he does look like a very good player. But obviously we want to get him for closer to 30 million pounds. That would be lovely. Fabrizio just sort of tweeted out a few hours ago with the next steps that are currently taking place really with Sofyan Amrabat at this moment. And he said that on Amrabat to Manchester United, they're following the steps. Hojlund in, then players out, Fred, Van der Beek. There will be a negotiation between the clubs only when United sell Fred and Van der Beek. This is something that is up to the club, with many clubs looking for midfielders around Europe. Something can happen. So he was speaking via his YouTube channel. Listen, we've got to be honest when we say that Man United just need to move on a couple of these melters and pounce on Sofyan Amrabat as soon as possible. We don't want to be fanning around for a long time here. It seems like we're in the position where we have to get rid of 1 or 2 melters first before we're actually allowed the freedoms to go out there and sign a new midfielder, because we've got a heck of a lot of midfielders in that team who are stinking up the gaff. There's certainly 3 who you could sell 1 or 2 of out of McTominay, Donny and Fred. And because of that, Well, they're not prepared to go and buy another midfielder until at least one, possibly two of those guys have gone. So as we've heard from Fabrizio Romano there, it's expected that we will go and actually table the offer for Sofyan Amrabat once we've got one of these guys agreed to move on elsewhere, which is a shame. I'd like us to just go and pounce on this guy right now. We might do, especially if these talks and negotiations are advancing to sell Donny van der Beek or Fred and these guys. But at this moment, it seems like that's what the case has to be. We've got to get rid of a player before we can go in for Sofyan Amrabat. So not much has changed there. Very frustrating. Obviously, we want to bring this guy in as soon as possible. We still got all those players still currently at the football club, which is a shame. So we're just waiting for one of these guys to go. I mean, in regards to that, there is obviously players we're working on. So just to give you the lowdown, you've probably heard me talk about it last few days. But Donny van der Beek, wanted by Real Sociedad, probably could get £20 million for that guy if we're lucky. 20 million quid, get him off of our books. That will finance most of the Sofyan Amrabat transfer. You couple that with Fred, you can maybe get 12, 15 million for. Hopefully we can get more than that, but 15 million, say. I mean, that covers the whole entirety of the Sofyan Amrabat transfer, selling those two players. Plus, with the money involved, you know, you'll be saving nearly a couple of £100,000 a week, or 150 to 200,000 pounds a week from both of those player wages. So that basically pays for all of his wages as well. So I think that's what United are trying to do. They're trying to move on Fred and Donny, and they're trying to go out there and purchase Sofyan Amrabat, which looks like a brilliant replacement for those couple of players, really. So it will make us better. It will make us a much better side. I'd be looking very much forward to seeing Amrabat slot in that midfield alongside Casemiro and just seeing what he can do, obviously. And pretty sure he's going to give us more than we've got right now in terms of stability, creation, forward passing. You know, he's not, anybody can play the ball forward, but you've got to play the ball forward and actually have a successful rate of finding your teammates and playing the ball forward, which is something that last season in Serie A anyway, Sofyan Amrabat absolutely excelled at. Thank you, Rushmano. Get in there, you Don. He says, subscribe to the channel. Yes, sirree. If you guys are here for the first time, smash that subscribe button. Help us get to 72.9k subs. If you're here for the first time, drop a little subscribe on it. It's free to subscribe and get yourself involved. Also, take a second to smash that thumbs up button. Every like counts, guys. That's all we ask around here is you clobber that like button. Give us a thumbs up. It's free to do so. And that will help us out on the old YouTube algorithm, which is a cruel mistress. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here who's done that. Okay, hi there, Johnny M and Alex Walker. Thank you very much. Yes, do give it a like spike. Right, so, you know, coming days, we're expecting a bid for Sofyan Amrabat, but as I mentioned, Fabrizio there has confirmed that perhaps Manchester United do need to move on one of these guys, Donny, Fred, and I'll just talk about a couple of other players that there's sort of bids and movement for as of right now, which might actually help us to go and sign this player sooner rather than later. So Eric Bailly, I know we're not going to get a lot of money for this guy, no doubt about it. He's not worth a heck of a lot of money. He's on quite big money for the player that he is. He's injury prone. He's not got long left on his contract, etc. So we're not going to get a lot of money for Eric Bailly, but there are some tentative reports coming out today that Manchester United have received 2 bids from Saudi Pro League for Eric Bailly. So he's another player that, well, he could go on his way out very, very soon. I mean, he's a decent defender. He's a good defender. I actually rate him better than Harry Maguire when he's fit and available. Problem is, he's never fit and available. He's the defensive version of Tony Martial, unfortunately. Absolute sick note at the back. This guy's always got some sort of an illness, some sort of an injury, some sort of a suspension, some sort of a disease. Don't know, but he's always unfit and very rarely available to play. He's not worth a heck of a lot of money. Let's ask the live chat how much you think we'll actually end up getting for Eric Bailly. But I'm going to be honest, I think £6 to £8 million is probably the fee that we can only really look to get for Eric Bailly. He's not got that long left on a contract. Plus, his legs are made of jelly and they constantly get injured all the time. And he's just an injury-prone player. Very unlikely we'll get a heck of a lot of money for the guy. But, well, you never know. Let's hope so. 4 million, says Alex. 6, says Mike Hill. Bailly's better than Harry Maguire. I'm with you, Ibukam Noah. I completely agree with you, bud. Like, let's be honest, I do believe that as well, but he's not fit enough. I mean, one thing about Harry Maguire which does play into his favour, he's a super fit lad. Oh, hello, sailor. No, I don't mean like that. I mean, he's very robust and he's always fit and available. Very rarely does he get injured, Harry Maguire, to be fair to him. He's quite robust. He's a strong lad like that. He's strong built and he doesn't get injured that often. So that's one plus point for Harry Maguire. But most of the other things, and I think his passing's better than Eric Bailly's. Maguire's passing's better than Eric Bailly's, but everything else, positioning, tackling, even heading, I personally think Eric Bailly is better than Harry Maguire at, but it's not all about that, I guess. 8 million, 1.15 million, fair play to you. Yeah, he's not worth a lot of money, that's the problem, but he is supposedly wanted by, Saudi teams. Rasmus says Bailly would be our second best centre-back. Well, if he had stayed fit, if he was always available and ready to play for us and not a complete injury-prone melter, he would be up there, to be honest. But the problem with Eric Bailly is he is just so injury-prone. I mean, I'd rather keep him, though, as a sixth-choice backup than Maguire. But just on that, let's have a little vote in the live chat, guys. Keep or sell Eric Bailly? I mean, if we sell Maguire, I'd be more likely to want to keep hold of Eric Bailly, but it's probably time to part ways with Eric Bailly as well. Let's be honest, he's not really going to play much. He's on reasonable cash. He's stunk up the gaff for a couple of years now, very rarely played, and he's just not really reliable. Who's to say that he won't just get like a big injury at some point and then just be out for the rest of the season? He's too injury prone. You're almost better just cutting your losses on Eric Bailly and moving him on. Sell, says Edward. Bailly would be fourth choice as always, equal and fair, says Ryan. Sell, says Duncan. Keep, says Rasmus and Ernest. Fair play to you guys. Sell, says Neil. Sell, both. Sell. Second best, Varane and Butcher, mate. Yeah, Varane and Butcher are certainly better, aren't they, than those guys. Sell, 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 sell. Yeah, he's a good defender, though. I rate Bailly, but he's just never fit. Never fit at all. Sell both. Sell, sell, sell. Love him, but sell. Sell him on a car boot, says Paul Ellis. Actually, heart says keep, brain says sell. Yes, indeed. Evans ahead of Maguire, says Alex Walker. I'm with you. You like Bailly, but it's time to go. 5 minutes. Okay, so yes, Eric Bailly wanted by a couple of different Saudi teams. Let's hope that those bids materialise. Apparently they already have received offers, but again, it's from the Daily Mail, this source. So you've got to take it with a reasonable pinch of sodium there. But maybe we will see him depart Man United soon. But even if he does, that's not going to finance the deal of Sofyan Amrabat for us anytime soon. It's known we need to raise about 30 million in order to go and get Sofyan Amrabat. That's what Fiorentina want. And we're going to have to sell a player or two in terms of a more expensive player on higher wages to justify going to get Sofyan at the moment. So just on that, we obviously are covering the Sofyan Amrabat stuff, but just on that. So it's known that West Ham do want Scott McTominay. We've discussed this, and there's another report that's come out this evening just to reiterate the fact that it's known that West Ham are keen to sign Manchester United midfielder Scott McTominay this summer and are ready to negotiate with Manchester United. Let's hope it's true, although we do know that West Ham are currently doing some business at this moment for another midfield player, obviously Edson Alvarez over at Ajax. They've had an agreement with the player, and it's understood, this is an hour ago from Fab, that West Ham have just sent their first official bid for Edson Alvarez. The package is around 30 million euros, and it follows exclusive story yesterday on personal terms being agreed. Negotiations continue with Ajax. Edson's ready to fly for the medical. So that does sound like they're already turning their attentions to this guy, but I don't necessarily think that it means that Moisey won't want McTominay. I think it just means that they want him at the right price. They don't want to pay £40 million for the guy. They obviously don't see the value in that, but maybe if you were to give him away for 25 to 30 million, perhaps they would be interested in this particular offer. So we're waiting to see whether or not this materializes. This also may not materialize just because they've sent this offer and they've had personal terms agreed. Doesn't necessarily mean they will end up completing this transfer. Ajax may decline, or they may well decide to go and sell him elsewhere or keep him, etc. So we've got to obviously hope that that doesn't happen, because if this goes through, I guess the likeliness of Scott McTominay signing for West Ham does go down a little bit, but hopefully it doesn't affect it too much, and West Ham would still come in for Scott McTominay. So it's well known that David Moyes is a fan of Scotty McTominay. Perfect sort of replacement for Declan Rice, who's just gone off to Arsenal Hojlund for a significant amount of cash as well, 105 million. They can cash in 75 million and pay 30 mil for Scotty. Quids in for David Moyes' Ginger Goblins over there. That'd be awesome. And then obviously there's the Maguire situation as well. He's another player that is reasonably wanted by a couple of different teams at the right price. West Ham still wanting McTominay and Maguire by all accounts. And if that is the case and we can sell one or both of those guys, of course that's going to finance the Sofyan Amrabat deal. But it's understood there's another report as well. So let's have a look at this one. Another report here from MEN says that Manchester United are reportedly unwilling to force Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay out of the club. Why? Why do this to us? Force them out, damn it! I don't think I don't think there's much basis for this. When they say force them out of the football club, maybe it's just a case that, well, there's other players that are wanted by other teams at the moment, particularly in the midfield. Donny's being discussed with Real Sociedad. Fred's being wanted by a couple of different teams. If we sold both of those players, even if we buy Sofyan Amrabat, Kobbie Mainoo's injured at the moment, there's not that much cover in the midfield, so it might make sense to keep Scott McTominay anyway. So only if we get what we want for Scott McTominay does it make sense for us to sell him at this moment. And maybe the same goes for Harry Maguire to a lesser extent. He's on huge money, and he's a complete slab of a man, an absolute gash merchant when it comes to playing football, but he's a decent backup. That's fair to say. He's not going to get in the first team anymore. He's not as good as Martinez. He's not as good as Varane. He's arguably 5th, 6th, 7th choice centre-back. But he's better than a kick in the old trouser department when you've got an injury or two. Like if Varane's out injured or we've got a few injuries at the back, you would like to have Slabby Maguire around, I suppose, rather than have to go and give an opportunity to a youth player or play somebody out of position. So, I get it. I get us maybe not wanting to force them out, but I certainly would force Harry Maguire out of the football club. And when I say force, what can you do to force him out? He's not a turd. You can't just push harder and he goes. Sorry about that imagery there, guys. Sorry about that. Goodness me. Sorry about that. Don't know where that came from. But, you know, maybe he is maybe he is a bit of a turd. Let's be honest. He's like the turd that won't flush at Manchester United. He just will not leave. We're going to have to call out Super Mario, the plumber, with his fucking super plunger to get rid of that guy. You know what I mean? He's the Bowser of super turds that won't flush, isn't he, in a way? Let's be honest now. But, he's on 200 grand a week, this man, okay? He's on a huge amount of money. He doesn't want to necessarily go somewhere and get paid less. So one of these teams that is coming in for Harry Maguire is going to have to try and coax him there with the promise of at least paying him what he's paid now. So that limits the amount of teams that are prepared to actually go and buy the guy. And it also reduces the amount of money they're prepared to pay for him in terms of an upfront transfer fee. But will he want to go? It all comes down to the players, McTominay and Maguire. Do they love Manchester United and they want to stay here and play Champions League football and be a 7th choice backup? If that's the case, then it's going to be hard to flush those turds away. You know, it really is. We are going to have to get some, I don't know, like some drain unblocker or something like that to maybe get rid of some of them. And what is the drain unblocker, you ask? Well, at this moment, it would be Ten Hag treating them like backups and saying to them, hey, you're never going to play. You're a backup. If you want to play for your international side, you better get playing football elsewhere. We're not going to play with you. Go and train with the reserves. See you later on, you absolute bunch of melters. Maybe just laying down the smackdown like that. But that's not realistic, and that's what this report says, is that United are not prepared to force them out of the football club, which is a shame because they need to be forced out of this football club. And if Ten Hag has that strict man-to-man conversation with Harry Slabbo, he may well convince him that his future lies elsewhere. He will be able to play football regularly week to week at West Ham, but he won't be able to do that at Manchester United. Who knows, guys? What do you reckon, guys? Will he stay or will he go? Harry Maguire, what's your thoughts on him? Me personally, I think he's going to... I think he is going to go. I like Southgate's comments the other day where he's basically insinuated that if he doesn't go, he might find it harder to get into the national side. That's got to give him a bit of an incentive to leave. Hopefully West Ham are not done with their transfer negotiations for Harry Maguire. But it would not surprise me in the slightest if he ends up staying at the football club like a big, lingering stench of a man. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Stays says must play. 100% stays says must play. Fair play to you. If West Ham bid again, you better get the drain blocker ready for McTominay and Maguire. You'd rather keep Scotty at centre-back than Slabby. Hey, me too. At least he's versatile and can play in the midfield, etc. You know, at least that is the case. Glazer out says sing. Get in there, my son. 50-50 says Danny B. Thank you, Madhouse. It's great analogy, Piggy. Slab must go, says Duncan. Needs to go for his England future. Yeah, certainly. Certainly. We better get the drain unblocker ready, lad. Yeah, they haven't bid. Yes, indeed, must play. So haven't, well, apparently they bid 20 million the other day. We know that because obviously Fabrizio and David Ornstein reported that they had bid 20 million. So they had bid a couple of days ago, but they haven't bid again. And they haven't bid for Scott McTominay from what I understand. But they did bid for Maguire because David Ornstein and Fabrizio and a lot of Tier 1 journalists reported that they had received a 20 million bid, which we swiftly rejected. So we know that we received a bid for Harry Maguire already. But we have to just wait and see if they're prepared to come back for another offer for Harry Maguire. Rushy says if McAverage is sold, it's pure profit for us. That's true as well. Yeah, very much so. Plus, great player for the right team. Sell him to the Vietnam League, says 0793. Good shout, mate. That's a good idea. I hear Hanoi United are interested in him. You know what I mean? Beats guy, how you doing there, Alex? Get it there, my stud. He says Maguire needs to leave, but we also need to replace him. Fair shout. Yes, I'm with you there, bud. So especially if Bailly goes as well, Bailly and Maguire, which is looking reasonably likely. It's going to leave us, what, 5 proper centre-backs, which could be enough for the season. But beyond the first couple, it's getting a little bit ropey already. So we would perhaps have a look at going to get like a Todibo player in as a replacement or somebody else even. But like at the back there, you'd have Martinez and Varane, who are obviously first choice. They're not going to be fit and available to play every single game, sadly. Beyond that, you've got Victor Lindelof, who, when he's not playing for Manchester United, he can be seen behind a counter in IKEA serving people meatballs. You know what I mean? So he's not exactly world class, and let's be honest, he's a very good player, and I rate him as a squad rotation player, and as a backup, you need players like that, and he's good. But he's not that great. He's a flat pack furniture lover. So he's going to come in there and play occasionally, but would we really feel super confident with Victor Lindelof playing all the time? Not all the time, no. So if you, let's say Varane was injured for 2 months and you've got somebody to come in and it's Lindelof, it's okay, but it's not great. You want more competition for places there. You want a little bit more quality, I think. Which could certainly happen if we were to go and get Todibo, who does look actually very, very good. He's only 23 as well, so he's a young, hungry player who could maybe shadow Raphael Varane and, you know, with that French vibe connection. So that is obviously something that we would be interested in doing. And if we were to sell Maguire, I think that would be brilliant. Like if we ended up, let's ask the live chat here. If we ended up the transfer window, forget Kane, we're not going to talk about Kane right now, but forget Kane. But if we ended up at the end of this transfer window having signed 2 more players and getting rid of Maguire, say, and those 2 more players that we signed after Hojlund, which is already done, are Todibo and Amrabat, how would you rate the transfer window out of 10? It's creeping up for me, you know. I'm going to give it 8.3. 8.3, my friends. I believe it would be a very good transfer window if you could get rid of a couple of the gash players and then add Amrabat, Todibo, Hojlund, Mount, Onana, Johnny Evans. It would be a decent looking transfer window from United so far, to be honest. Get in there, Stephanie Griffith. We smashed 100 likes, baby. Sue, get in there. Thank you, everybody, for hitting that thumbs up button. We got 300 legends in here right now. 300 watching and 125 likes. You know what? That's good. That's good. But we can do even better than that, my friends. Bacon Brigade, assemble! And hit that thumbs up button if you haven't. Help us get to 169 likes. And also, twat the subscribe. I can see we're creeping up. We're almost at 72,850. Smash the subscribe. Cheers, legends. Noble Army, 8776. 8.5 says Matty Norton. Good to see you, bro. Yes, indeed. We got a lot of ratings coming in here. 8.5, 8, 7. If Slabby goes, it's a 10.9. 8.5, 8.5, 8, 7.5, 6.5, 8.3, 5, 7, 7.5. Most people giving it a 7.5 or an 8, maybe. I mean, yes, I think it would be. And Leonardo's, we're going to get onto that in a little bit as well. Leonardo's a candidate to purchase also. So we'll see about that. AML says 7. 10 out of 10 if the Glazers go too. 6 says Chris. Fair play to you. Oh, if the Glazers go, it's 1,000,000 out of 10. If we can finally get those wank pieces gone, it would absolutely be amazing. I'm freezing a lot tonight. Really, Matthew Smith? That's not good, mate. Well, I should put a jacket on then, shouldn't I, bro? I didn't know that. Hopefully it's not too bad, mate, but thanks for keeping me posted. I just closed Discord and stuff, so hopefully that will, you know, give us a more smooth stream there, lad. Scarboy says, let's get Piggy to 100k. Thank you, Scarboy. Appreciate that. Stephanie, we're giving us an 8.3 for the window. All right, then, guys. So McTominay and Maguire still on the agenda to sell. As we've mentioned, we can quite easily sell 2 or 3 players so far between now and the end of the window. The most likely candidates, obviously, Fred and Donny van der Beek. They are wanted by clubs and they will be sold in order to finance the Sofyan Amrabat deal. Beyond that, there's less likelihood, but we could maybe sell both McTominay, Maguire, or either or, one or the other. I think the chances of us keeping hold of McTominay are starting to get a bit higher, though, because obviously we've mentioned that Edson Alvarez is wanted by West Ham and they're working on him. They've already submitted a bid for Edson Alvarez to West Ham. So if that happens, it's going to decrease the likelihood that Scott McTominay goes there and that they're prepared to bid for him. But, and also, because if we do get rid of Donny van der Beek and Fred, it just means that we probably need to have a little bit more extra cover in that midfield. So I could see Ten Hag maybe keeping Scott McTominay around the gaff. But hopefully he is sold. Hopefully he is sold. Okay, so we understand we're not going to be forcing them out, though, which I think we should try and do our utmost to get rid of them, but that's understood. Just very quickly on another United target, guys. Oh, my goodness me. This is a shame because I think he does have a lot of talents and is a quality player and looks like at his age, I think he's only 23, he could go on and do some fantastic things in the future. And Ten Hag has a connection with him as well, and is understood to have had some interest in him. But Mohamed Kudus, guys, exclusive David Ornstein this evening reporting that Brighton and Hove Albion have reached an agreement in principle with Ajax to buy Mohamed Kudus for €40 million. 23-year-old Ghana international's close to an agreement on personal terms, deal not fully done, but the key to De Zerbi target and would be Brighton's record signing. Oh, gosh, that's a shame. I was hoping we might bring him in, to be honest. That would have been a nice transfer. 40 million is not a crazy amount of money. 40 million euros, if they accept that, it's really not a crazy amount of money for a good player in this current climate. It seems like a reasonable transfer for them. I think Brighton would end up getting a very good deal for this player. They know what they're doing over there at Brighton. You can't deny that their recruitment over the last several seasons has been pretty much second to none when it comes for highlighting the right players and buying the right players and paying the right amount of money for players as well. Brighton have really exceeded most teams in the league. So, yeah, I think that'd be a great signing for them. United probably aren't going to go in for this guy because of the other work that we're looking at doing, obviously. Maybe we could have a look at this guy. I mean, we could hijack it, I guess, Edward Reed. We could do. Smash a 1 in the chat if you think we will try to hijack it. Unfortunately, I don't think we will, unless we do sell somebody like Harry Maguire and get a significant amount of wages off the books. And McTominay and these guys, if you can get those guys gone, we could perhaps go in and hijack the deal. But quite unlikely at this moment because we've just paid for Hojlund and we've got a lot of wide players. So, Kudus obviously going to be playing in the wide areas, and Manchester United have got a lot of wide players there. So we've got Garnacho and Rashi on the left. We've got Sancho and Anthony and Pellistri and all these guys. It's not really the area of the team we're absolutely crying out for. Okay, he can play in a couple of different positions, Mohamed Kudus, but even so, he's expected to be playing out there in the wide areas. So it's unlikely that we do that. Unless we can sell someone like Jadon Sancho, which just isn't going to happen, then it's very unlikely. If we sell Sancho, says Boomy, yeah, if we sell Sancho, but Sancho's about as appealing to purchase as a rotting strawberry with a maggot coming out of it, mate. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, he's very, very unappetizing right now for other teams to come in and get him. He's like a rotten fruit of a player, sadly. He's obviously a very good player. Don't get me wrong, he's been all right in pre-season, I guess. And I still think he can do really good stuff in the future for Manchester United. He's going to have to prove it this season, but he's not really set the world alight the last couple of years at United. He's been okay. Let's use the word okay for him. Some may say flop. I say he's been okay. He's had his moments, but he's getting on a little bit now. He's not just a 21-year-old, 22-year-old. He's 23, 24. He needs to start growing a pair of bollocks on him and start doing it to a consistent basis and playing good football for us regularly. And if he can do that, then he's got a place in Ten Hag's United side. If not, then we'll probably look to moving on in a year's time. But right now, you try and sell Jadon Sancho in this current market. Not going to happen. You'd have to get rid of him at a very cut price, a super duper cut price in order to tempt a team to going in for the guy, I think, because we paid £73 million for the guy. We're not going to be seen after just 2 seasons of development of this guy to sell him for a significant amount less than that. And yet he's on, some reports say £350,000 a week, which, I mean, I hope that that's not true, but that's what some reports say. Absolutely outrageous if that's the case. That's the sort of player we thought we were getting, an absolute world beater, an absolute baller, world-class talent, and he's not lived up to it just as of right now. I rate him, though. I feel like he's another one of those players that I feel like he has everything in his locker. He has all the different attributes needed to be a great player, but him actually transferring that and translating that to the pitch doesn't happen all that often. It's a very frustrating, talent to watch develop at United over the last 2 years. If he can continue to develop, though, and get better and add different facets to his game, maybe he'll get more chances for Ten Hag, perhaps playing central this season, because of the issues we've got up top. Maybe we'll get a few more chances in a different position, false 9, whatever the case may be. Perhaps that's what he's going to be doing, but he needs to just sort himself out and start playing regularly. Because of that, he's just not really wanted by many players because of his wage and because he's not really had too much of a good couple of seasons. Zayn Miassi, what's going on, lad? Thank you very much for getting in here, bro. Zayn Miassi getting in here with an absolute pile of steaming guff of a comment here, bud. He says Arsenal can buy Sancho. Arteta will work his magic to get him back to his best. Just like Cameron works his movie magic. Fucking hell, Zayn Miassi, lad, you sicken me, bro. I've heard Avatar 3 and Avatar 2 are a bunch of gash, lad. The other one's not even made yet, is it, lad? But I heard they're gash compared to the first one. But anyway, listen, Zane, fair enough. I mean, he does need revitalising. Listen, if anybody can do it, it's Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag, they call him Mr. Erection. Mr. Res Erection. That's what they call him, because he resurrects people's careers, guys. That's what he does. Look at Rashford. Look at Luke Shaw. Look at Wan-Bissaka. Look at a lot of these players who he's resurrected at Manchester United in a short space of time. Mikel Arteta, why wouldn't he do that with Nicolas Pepe then? You know what I mean, bud? Nicolas Pepe came in for an extortionate amount of cash and absolutely gashed it up and flopped. Why wouldn't he have done that with Nicolas Pepe, my son? You know what I mean? If he was really capable of getting the best out of these players, lad. I'm just saying, I don't think Arteta's the answer there, bro. To be fair to Arteta, he's managed to get quite a lot out of certain players, such as Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus, when he came over from City, I thought they were getting a proper C-Tech merchant. But as it turns out, he's done quite well with getting quite a lot out of Gabriel Jesus. Arteta, I think, is a good coach. Let's be honest. He has actually... he's actually done all right for Arsenal, to be honest. He's spent a lot of money, and he's had a lot of help. But he's done better than I thought he would do. Though it wasn't that long ago, everybody was saying a Arteta out, or the Arsenal fans were calling for his head. It wasn't that long ago that was the case. But, you know, I don't know about that, but I think... I personally think that he's not as good as a coach as Erik ten Hag, and Erik ten Hag, in terms of resurrection, would be able to revitalise Jadon Sancho's career much better than that melter Arteta can, lad. Exactly, Rushmano. He says, Big Sam's much better than Arteta. There you go. Big Sam Allardyce, bro. Pepe for the price is one of the worst flops in recent history, but no one really talks about it. It's so true, Ryan. What did they pay for him? 70 mil, wasn't it? 70 mil for Nicolas Pepe. He's going to go for a bag of fried peanuts to out of the football club soon. You know what I mean? So, there you go. I mean, Zayn Miassi coming in here talking raw shite as per usual. It's what he does. We do need to get an emoji for Zayn Miassi. I keep saying that. We're going to get a facepalm emoji, and I was supposed to do it tonight, wasn't I? Shit. But until then, let's just use a poo-poo emoji, guys, for the raw guff that's falling out of his mouth there. Chris Koo, thank you very much for your super chat here, Chris Koo. He says, Pig, what's more annoying? Zayn's inane rambling, or the fact we're still owned by the Glazers? Tough one for me. Ooh, you know, from an in-your-face point of view, it's got to be Zayn Miassi, but from a background, it's the Glazers. But, you know, Zayn's getting in our face there all the time, isn't he, this guy? So it's hard to look beyond him. Thank you, Chris Koo, for that super chat, my friend. Let's get a love art in there for Mr. Cool. Thank you, Chris Koo. I appreciate it. You're right. Zayn likes to get his ramblings in there. Crikey. He's got another one in there. He says Havertz has already improved. You what? Zayn Miassi, come on, bud. Oh, Havertz has already improved. His pre-season shite, mate. Nobody cares. We dropped you up 2-0 and he was fucking pathetic in that game a couple of weeks ago, mate. You think Havertz has already improved? Crikey. He must have been absolutely shite then last season, which he was. Fucking hell, bud. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, fair enough, Zayn Miassi. Give me strength. He says Pepe wasn't his player. Sancho form has gone from Matrix 1 quality to Matrix 4 quality. He needs reboot, just like the Matrix films. Zayn Miassi, you do realise Sancho wasn't Erik ten Hag's player either, right? You're coming in here saying Pepe wasn't his player. That's the whole point of fucking revitalising someone. He's come in. All those players last season weren't Ten Hag's players, mate. None of them were Ten Hag's players, apart from the ones he bought in, obviously, when he first came. Sancho came in the season before. Do you remember that? He's not a Ten Hag signing. You do realise that. Ten Hag did not sign Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho came in the season before, lad. So he's not his player either. So it's the same. He says Sancho's form has gone from Matrix 1 quality to the Matrix 4 quality. He needs a reboot just like the Matrix films. I say leave the Matrix films well alone. In all honesty, they should have left the Matrix film well alone after the first one. The first one's an absolute cinematic masterpiece. No doubt about it, the first one. Stop trying to hit me and hit me! The first one's amazing. But the second one's kind of a bit guff, and it's just downhill from there, isn't it? The third one's rubbish. And I haven't even bothered to watch The Matrix 4, to be honest with you, Zane. I'll leave that for cinema files like you to go and watch, mate. You know what I'm saying? But I say don't reboot The Matrix. Leave it where it is. In fact, delete the last 3 and just stick with the first one. Don't even watch it beyond the first one. The first one's a standalone classic, mate. Get in there, my son. Oh, the first one was a banger. It's me easy says Matrix 4 was better than 3. Well, that's not that hard. I've seen the third one. It's absolutely guff. Zane on the crack pipe says United. He's always coming in here talking about movies, isn't he? Do you know why that is? So I'll tell you why Zane's got such an obsession with James Cameron and movies. It's because he's an Arsenal supporter and he's got to get some joy and some entertainment from somewhere. That's the reality. Like, he has to live in a fantasy world, playing World of Warcraft and watching Avatar and shit like that. Otherwise, he'd go crazy watching the Arsenal play. You know, the amount of bottle jobs. I mean, only in those movies is he getting a happy ending. Look at last season. You know, it's like a perfect story throughout. It's got a beginning and a middle, but not an end. Not an end. They shat it at the end. It turned from a nice action movie into a very, very sad tragedy there at the end there for Arsenal. So that's what Zane has to contend with, a proper shite bottle job of a club who can't give him any sort of happiness. So he has to watch all these movies where they got happy endings and shit like that, you know. Chris Koo, thank you for your £2 super chat here. He says, okay, I made my mind up. It's Zane. Zane's the most annoying, eh? Respect. You gotta. What do you reckon, guys? Who's more annoying, Zane or the Glazers? I don't know, actually. I do think the Glazers are pure shithouses, aren't they? Zane's all right. He's got his heart in the right place, even if he's a complete ramble merchant. He's got his heart in the right place. Mr. Anderson. Oh, you want a knobhead emoji? Time for your tablet, Zane says Rashmano. Oh, Matrix 2 is decent. It was okay. I like that scene with all the Agent Smiths where they're trying to kill Neo and stuff, and there's like a million of them and stuff. That's a great scene. That's brilliant, isn't it? But the rest of it, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. The first one's brilliant, though. What a great movie. Yeah. Kind of like Arsenal's managers since Arsene Wenger. He was good, and then the rest of them have been pure shite. Zane's another undercover United fan, says United, definitely. Zane spends more than the Glazer, says United 90. Zane's the 7th Glazer. Nah, it's Glazer, of course. Zane's funny, says IQ Insane. Zane's funny, says Duncan. AML, thank you very much indeed for getting in with a super chat as well tonight, bro. Get in there, my son. Come on, let's get some love in there for AML. What a legend. AML says, what's the difference between Arteta and James Cameron? James Cameron doesn't crumble under pressure. Oh, get in there, my son. Come on. Love it. Absolutely. James Cameron can hold it together. That's a bloody good one there, AML. Appreciate it, dude. Very much true. Yeah, he's taken 10 different submarines down to the wreckage of the Titanic and never crumbled, mate, under the pressure. You know what I'm saying? And his movie making's pretty good quality as well. Let's be fair. He's done some bangers. But, you're absolutely right. Arteta's a crumble merchant. From a winning position last season to throw it the way they did, it's the worst bottle job in Premier League history. I stand by that statement. The worst bottle job in Premier League history. Yeah, there's been some good ones like Liverpool, etc. But, nah, that's the biggest one if you ask me. 100% Glazers. You never watched the Matrix movie? Madhouse, you got to watch the first one. Go and watch the first Matrix movie after this. You won't regret it, lad. Don't watch the others, though. Don't watch the others. They're shite. But watch the first one and just leave it there. If you leave it there as a standalone movie, you'll be happy, mate. Great movie. Great movie. I'll give it a solid 8.5 chainsaws out of 10. Aaron says you have 19 reposts so far. That's bloody awesome. Thank you, everyone, for retweeting us on Twitter. Check out the link at the top of the live chat there, guys. Go over to Twitter. Give us a massive retweet. You know it makes sense. Every little tweet will help us spread the word of the show, so go over there and smash it. We're 1 like away from 169 likes as well, guys. 69, dude. Twat the likes. Let's get this sucker to 200 likes on this Saturday night show. You just realised Zane spent more on Super Chats than the Glazers have spent on the club, says Lord Turtle. Well said, ML, says Neil Gilbert. We need Amrabat in. Certainly we do. We're going to get back into the transfer news in a moment. Just been derailed here from some of this guff movie chat again, haven't we? Goodness me, goodness me. Levy's on vacation. Maybe he's gone round St. Miassi's for a fantasy holiday. I don't know. Maybe he's gone to like Disneyland or something and Zane's meeting him out there. But Daniel Levy's failed to respond to Bayern's ultimatum for Harry Kane. The Tottenham chief travelled to the United States instead, where his family are on vacation. Nice one. Also, United are linked with Leonardo. That's right. Cowabunga, dude. We're linked to Leonardo. We've got Rafael Varane at the club. We just need to get somebody called Mike Angelo. And we've got Master Splinter, to be fair. That big fucking rat Slabo Maguire already here. Stinking up the gaff with his bubonic plague. And then we just need to go and get Donatello. Who could that be? Donny van der Beek. Donatello, guys. There you go. We've done it. So we just need to go and get this guy and then somebody called Mike Angelo. And we're sorted, aren't we? We've got the whole bloody turtle squad in the gaff. It would be awesome. Who's my favourite turtle? My favourite turtle now is Michelangelo. But when I was a kid, it was Leonardo. Oh, I've always thought Leonardo was the coolest with his two swords, mate. But Michelangelo's blatantly the funnest, isn't he? He's the funniest. Michelangelo's the Don. United, thank you very much for your super chat here. And First Class Gamer, how you doing? That was a big bottle job, actually, First Class. Great shout. I would love it. I would love it if we beat them. I would love it if we beat them. That was a proper bottle job, actually, lad. Oh, goodness. Arteta don't win Prem. He's gone. Great, yes. Anyway, hang on. United says, which ex-United player would you put in our squad? Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes. I must be honest. Paul Scholes. If we had Paul Scholes in the team right now for the next 20 years, or not 20 years, 10 years, however, you know, he obviously was at our club a heck of a long time, but 10 years, say, from 20 to 30. If we could have him from there to there, wow. I mean, he obviously went on and played a long time after that, but still, Paul Scholes, what a player. If we could choose anybody, I'd go with Scholesy because he's guaranteed to just control your midfield for the next decade. He's that good. He was that class. He was a genius, and he would just control the play, and we would win things, and Scholesy would be an integral cog in all of that because he was just a genius of a player. So I'll go with Paul Scholesy. What a bloody legend. What a bloody legend. Thank you, United, for your question there, though. Good stuff. Roy Keane's a great shout as well. Casemiro and Scholes. That would be outrageous, wouldn't it? Thank you for retweeting the tweet there, Vincent. I'll check them out in a little bit. Cantona would be awesome as well. Hey, thank you very much there, Smithy, for getting your highlighted member comment in here. He says he's been a member 5 months, guys. He says, decent window this summer, Pig. A lot better than West Ham anyway. Hope you're all good. Thank you so much. Yeah, you've done jack all, haven't you? I know you're trying to get Edson Alvarez at the moment. I think you're going to come in for a double swoop for McTominay and Slabby, and that'll save your window. But classic Moisey window, not getting much done there. Thank you for being a member 5 months there, my son. I appreciate that. Get in there. Happy trails, my friend. Zamiassi says the Turtles 1990 movie classic. New one garbage. I've not seen the new one. It's got a good cast though, hasn't it? Like voice-wise. But the 1990 movie is an absolute classic, isn't it? Oh my goodness me. So good. Casey Jones, April O'Neil. You know, the Shredder was amazing casting in that movie. It's a fucking brilliant movie, isn't it? I love it. I agree. Corey Feldman as the voice of Donatello. It doesn't get much better, Zabiassi. I agree. That's actually a great movie, even if you watch it back now. It's a legit movie. It's quite dark and violent as well. It's pretty legit, mate. It's a good movie, that one. I love it. Good shout. Oh, Zane says Scholes at his position's the best ever in this league. Super chat. Who are you and what have you done with Zane Miassi? Who are you, Zane? Somebody put a word out that Zane's been captured. What's going on here? Zane Miassi's actually talking legit sense. You're absolutely right. He was the best in his position in the Premier League history. I agree with you. Surprised you're not coming in here saying some guff like, I don't know, Fabregas is better or some shit. Don't know. Or Jack Wheelchair. But, no, Paul Scholes, you're absolutely right in terms of like that midfield maestro, that pass master, that creative spark. He was the best. He could hold the ball in midfield, play the ball around. The only one thing that Paul Scholes was not the best at, I guess, was his tackling. But he still loved to tackle, but he was a bit reckless in his challenging. Wasn't the best tackler. But his overall play in terms of a pass master, creative player, the absolute best. A tick-over merchant, metronome in the middle of the park. Absolute best. Fair play to you, Miassi. For once, I actually don't totally disagree with something you've said, mate, which is refreshing. Cheers, bud, for getting in there with an actual bit of sense. Oh, Scholes, he was way better than Gerrard, wasn't he, first class game? It makes me laugh when people say Gerrard's better than Scholes and Lampard. Fuck no, he's not. I mean, maybe, as we've gone over this many times, Gerrard was probably the best all-rounder in the sense that he could create with his good passing range, he could score goals, he could defend reasonably well. Better than the other two. I think it's fair to say his defending was better. But Scholes was just the ultimate creative passing midfielder. Lampard was the best goal-scoring midfielder. You know, so it always makes me laugh when people say Gerrard's the best out of those three. Those people did not watch the Premier League in the 90s and 2000s, clearly, if they think Gerrard was better than Scholes. Scholes was a machine. Gerrard never won the Premier League. If he was that much of a baller, he'd be able to at least have got one Premier League title with his team. Scholes got 12 with United. Scholes got 12 United. I know that's a lot down to Fergie, a lot down to the teammates around him, but Scholes was an integral cog in all of those 12 titles. Yeah, Gerrard couldn't even polish his shoes. Get in there, first class game, and love that. Night Whispers says, Zane, you all right, mate? He had Keane for tackling, says Roy the Boy Keno. Exactly, he had Keno alongside him, so Scholes, he was fine. He was absolutely fine. Zane says, best player Ronaldo, super Adams and Keown, Dixon, best defence. You really think so? I mean, that was a pretty good defence. But it's no way near as good as Evra, Rio, Vidic, and Neville, I don't think. Who was the other one? You've only mentioned 3. Who was the other one in your defence? You don't even know, do you? Was it, who was it? Was it that bloke, what's his name, with the L? Certainly not Winterburn. Who was your, oh no, it was that Brazilian guy. Fucking hell, his name's gone out of my head now for some reason. Fucking hell. Anyway, yeah, that was a good lineup for you, to be fair, when you had Tony Adams as your captain and stuff, and Keown. And Dixon was a good left back as well. Laurent, that's the one I mean, yeah, Laurent. Laurent, yeah. So, fair enough, but no, I don't think so. I think the best defence, arguably, there's a couple of different best defences in the Premier League history, but certainly the one I just mentioned, Man United's one, is right up there. I mean, you have to say that Chelsea's was pretty exceptional at one stage as well, when they had like Carvalho and Terry and Ashley Cole and who was on the right? Can't remember now, but they definitely had a very good time of it then. And of course, Manchester United had various different ones throughout the eras when we had like Stam back in the day, even back in the early 90s actually, when we had like Irwin and Bruce and Pallister and Paul Parker. That was a banging back line also. But anyway, now you're back to talking guff, mate. Now you're back to talking guff, Samiasi. Back to talking guff. But he says the best player is Ronaldo. I knew you were a closet United fan, Samiasi, bro. I knew it. Definitely IQ insane. Definitely. Yeah. Anyway, right, okay. Evra, our best left back. I still prefer Dennis Irwin, but Evra's right up there. What a great player. What a great player. Yap, Stam, Rio, Vidic, Evra. Absolutely unbelievable. Irwin, best ever, says Roy the Boy. I'm with you, bud. I think Irwin was a cut above. He was exceptional, wasn't he? Anyway. Right, guys, let's get back into the transfer news and stuff. I've still got a few more things to talk about. As I mentioned, Man United are looking at this Brazilian player called Leonardo, and he is on the agenda, obviously, for Manchester United this summer. Apparently, anyway, we haven't necessarily bid for the guy just yet, but here's a report that says that we are looking, we're very vigilant about the situation surrounding Leonardo. So we're looking at another player, another forward option, maybe a cheap option to come in and bolster our attacking options, maybe makes sense. Apparently he's a good player. I haven't seen much of him, but look, I'm all for it. If we can poach a really good young Brazilian talent, and he can come in and do a good job for us, and he's a cheap player, it makes sense, doesn't it, to get him in there. Zamiasi, thank you for another super chat here. He says the best striker is Henry. Best captain, Roy Keane. Do you know what, Zamiasi? What's going on with you tonight? Have you been taking sensible pills? What's going on, bud? I don't understand. Surely you would be coming in here talking some guff about some Arsenal captain. I don't know, Vieira or bloody Adams or something. But instead you're telling me Roy Keane's the best. What's the matter? What's happened to our Zane, guys? He's off his tits, this man. He's actually talking sense, this guy. No, I'm with you there. I think Roy Keane's the best captain in Premier League history, no doubt. He is the most competitive, the most bulldogish, the most demanding. He was an absolute leader of men, no doubt. Roy Keane, what a beast. Fantastic. Best captain, I agree. Best striker, Henry. I mean, he's up there, isn't he? He's definitely up there. Not for me personally, but he's definitely up there. My personal best striker, if I had to say one striker in Premier League history. Ruud van Nistelrooy was something else in terms of just being an outright finisher. Rooney, obviously, was brilliant. He doesn't get the credit because he only played a couple of proper seasons up at the number 9. But when he did, wow, what a player. Alan Shearer was insane. Alan Shearer was brilliant. Andy Cole. Henry's up there, to be fair. I wouldn't dispute that. Fair enough. I'll give you Henry. If you give us Roy Keane, I'll give you Henry, to be honest. Because Henry was pretty fucking awesome. Shearer says David. Rude says Roy. Absolutely. Yeah, Klinsmann, well, he was very good for Spurs for a bit, but, not as prolific as some of these guys we've mentioned. Sheringham, not for Tottenham anyway. Chris Barker, Drogba was immense as well, absolutely. Rooney, Aguero, Ruud was a goal poacher. Henry was bad. You reckon Henry was bad? Henry was great, to be honest. Henry was really good. He was pretty awesome. He was just lightning, wasn't he? And he was, his technique was brilliant. Drogba, yeah, Drogba was immense. Aguero, to be fair. I hate to say it as well, but that season that Luis Suarez had, the racist bastard, Luis Suarez, after he came back after that ban for biting Chiellini in the World Cup, remember? And he came back. I hate to say it, but that season is amongst the best individual seasons I've seen from a striker. Hate to say it, but it's true. That one season that he had with Liverpool was absolutely otherworldly, wasn't it? I think he got 32 goals and he was banned for the first 8 games. Outrageous. Anyway, 186 likes, guys. We're closing in on 200. I've got to get back into the news. So here's a little bit on Kylian Mbappe's situation, everybody. So right now, PSG position has not changed regarding Kylian Mbappe. All solutions have been proposed, including new contract with guaranteed sale clause for summer 2024. Up to the player. Rejected. PSG remain convinced Mbappe only wants Real Madrid. So it seems like Mbappe's prepared to play the long waiting game and be harsh there, and quite possible that they're going to end up losing him in a year's time for nothing, because it does sound like maybe he's already got a deal in place with Real and that's where he wants to go, and he can get loads of money if he goes there as a free agent next summer. PSG must be absolutely seething with this situation. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if they can reach an agreement with another football club who may give them some money to come and take in. The longer it goes on, the more likely it is that Mbappe would be available for a cut price. And when I say a cut price, I still mean in excess of 100 mil, but a cut price. So, I mean, I'm not saying we're going to go in for him. We're not. We can't afford his wages. It's ridiculous. But I'm just very curious to see how it plays out over there. Harry Kane needs to do what Mbappe's doing and do the ultimate shithousery. That's what he needs to do. Get his move that he actually wants. But, yeah, who knows what's going to happen with Kylian Mbappe, guys. Just thought I'd mention it. It's big news, obviously, Kylian Mbappe this summer. Probably will end up just staying and running down his contract and go into Real in a year's time. But you never know. They might be forced to sell him in some way, and Kylian Mbappe might be forced to move on. He might get frozen out for a year there, or, the situation becomes untenable for him. Who knows? Somebody call the 5-0. Zane's been kidnapped. Guys, what's going on with Zane Miazzi tonight? He's in here talking nothing but pure sense, this guy. I told you he was a United fan, this guy. I told you he was a United fan in disguise. There you go. Schmeichel, the best goalie. I mean, he actually is as well, though. I'm with you. There's been some great ones. Czech is obviously right up there as a Premier League goalkeeper. But in my humble opinion, Schmeichel is the best I've ever seen in my lifetime. He was absolutely sensational in the way that he used to bark at the defence and organise them as well. The Great Dane was quite something. I agree with you, Zemiassi. I think that Peter Schmeichel is the best goalkeeper in Premier League history as well. But what are you on? Van der Sar's up there as well. What are you on tonight, Zemiassi? I don't understand. He's taken the red pills, says Adam Manny. Nice Matrix reference there. Wolves going to get to cut to pieces next Monday. I heard the Butcher will be in town. Oh, yes. Let's go. And Nelka made the mistake of leaving Arsenal early, says Zemiassi. Anelka was a good player, to be honest. Yes, I've got a lot of good memories of Nicolas Anelka. The main one being him missing a penalty against us in that Champions League final. Get in there, my son. And against Chelsea, not against you twats, because you only got there once, but you know what I mean. Yeah, Nicolas Anelka's a very good player, actually. He was pretty good, but, you know, why are you even mentioning Anelka in the same breath as some of these other forward players we mentioned? Anelka's like a journeyman compared to most of these players, just goes from team to team to team to team, fanning up the gaff, but he was a good player, though, I can't deny. But he wasn't up there with the very best. Missing, yes, Anelka missing. Get in there, United 90, come on. Thank you, Rushmano says subscribe to the channel. Get in there, yes, you know it. Get in there, we're almost at 200 likes. Cake Cadet, get in, how you doing tonight, lad? I know, what's he all on about? He went to go and play beach football, sipping wine all the time, Matthew Smith. Such a shame. Such a shame, that. What a player. He acted like a baby. Anelka moody like Martial. It's a French thing, maybe. Maybe. Anelka wasted talent. Anelka's a fan, he says, a silly place to squat. What happened to Mr. Anderson? You what? Cantona was 31 when he retired. Was he? I thought he left a bit earlier than that. Because he was at United for only 5 years, which I don't know why he did leave, but he could have played on for a lot longer, couldn't he? But he was pretty young. I thought he was 29 myself when he retired, but hey, you guys will be able to have the benefit of Google there. Gungshi says, smash a like for the Don. Thank you very much there. Gungshi, you legend. Get in there, you legend. Thank you very much for getting in. He says, smash a like for the Don. Thank you there, dude. Right then. So I am going to, just cover the rest of the stuff here, guys. We've got to get back on track. Most technical player, says Miasi. Most technical player in the Premier League history? It really depends what you mean, doesn't it? Technique-wise, I mean, Berbatov was very technical, but it depends what you mean. In terms of passing, Scholes was ridiculously technical. Interesting. Ronaldo, obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo was very, very technical. Bergkamp's a great shout. Bergkamp and Cantona. Ronaldo, Zola, Bergkamp, Modric. Samiasi says Bergkamp. Okay, well, Bergkamp was very technical and was a very, very good player as well. I've got to respect it. I respect him. What a player. He was good. He was very good. Tekka's Ronaldo had everyone on toast. Bergkamp says stay gold. Chris Koo says, Giggs Zane? You what? Is that meant to say Ryan Giggs or what's going on there? I don't know. Chris Koo, thank you for getting in there. You what? What does that mean? Cantona for a big man, fair point. Letitia was fantastic. David Silva. I love this nostalgia trip down memory lane we're going on here tonight, peeps. JJ Okocha, wow, yeah, he had the skills for days, didn't he? Bergkamp, the Penguin couldn't fly, says Matthew Smith. No, he had to get like a boat to major tournaments and shit for the World Cup. He'd get on like a boat for 6 days and stuff, wouldn't he? He was scared of flying, yeah. Zola says Arcadian. Georgie Best, what a player. Not in the Premier League though, but yeah, different era obviously, but what a player, unbelievable. Zola is a great shout, Gianfranco. Yeah, good shout. Ryan Giggs. Okay, anyway. Right, yeah, Giggs. Okay, Giggs was unbelievable, wasn't he? What a player, what a player. Right, guys, so let me just do a rundown of what we discussed. Before I do, actually, we've got a bit of Glazers stuff to talk about. It's a bit boring, isn't it? But let's talk about it, guys. So, as the title suggests, that there is hints and murmurs and rumblings that Sheikh Jassim and Qatar are close to winning the bid. So, various different outlets suggesting that that is actually the case. Zamiasi says second best winger Overmars after Ronaldo. You're talking shite, bud. Mark Overmars was very, very good. But the second best winger in Premier League history. Are you on the crack again, Zane? Goodness me, he's got off the sensible bills and he's on the crack pipe again, this lad. The second best winger behind Ronaldo. You're mad. Overmars was a great player, but the second best in Premier League history. Now you are stretching there. You're reaching there, bud. You're talking nonsense, lad. The second best in Premier League history. You're off your tits, lad. Giggsy was better, mate. Giggsy with the longevity and the quality and the awesome wing. And David Beckham, my son, with his crossing ability. Unbelievable, my son. Unreal. You're talking nonsense there, dude. Anyway, fair play to you, though. Back to shite, says Peter. Overmars was a heck of a talent, but to say he's the second best ever is mental. That's mental. Right, so it's understood that Manchester United are obviously still up for sale at this moment in time, and it's reported in various different outlets this evening, MEN and loads of different outlets suggesting that United Takeover latest, the Sheikh Jassim's bid, close to winning. Man United fans have been waiting for the news on the Takeover for several months, And apparently, there's not been any clarity given whatsoever by the Glazers at all. But the MEN says what we do know is that the Sheikh Jassim bin Ahmed Al Thani and Sergeant Ratcliffe are the two men battling it out for United. And it's understood that Sheikh Jassim is closing in on United. The takeover side is reaching its conclusion with November earmarked as the month it will be completed. Oh my God, I hope so. But, you know, goodness knows, there's many different places reporting it, all of which are a little bit on the guff side when it comes to legit stories. So, in my humble opinion, who knows? Who actually knows? There's all these privacy clauses that they had to sign and everything, so they can't really divulge information. It is expected that Sheikh Jassim is the bidder who is expected to complete the sale. And the Qatari bank is willing to pay £6 billion for Manchester United should the Glazer shithouses be prepared to accept it. So I'm not going to go into this too much, but I did want to mention it because it is coming out this evening from various different places that Sheikh Jassim and Qatar are leading the race here for the for the bidding process, and this has been going on for a while now, hasn't it? It's been there, it's been here, it's been back, it's been forward, it's been Sheikh Jassim, it's been Sir Jim, it's been no one. It's been the Glazers refused to sell. It's been now they're selling again, and now they're not selling, and now they're selling again. So in all honesty, I just think what a load of old bollocks, to be honest. I just want to wait and see what happens now. I'm pissed off. What I do know is we want those Glazer toss bags out of this football club as soon as humanly possible. Hashtag Glazers out, my friends. Get rid of those toe rags. Honestly, what a complete bunch of scum. But we're not going to dwell too much on the news because, you know, I think personally it's just kind of like clicks. It's trying to get clicks, isn't it? It's more Glazer shithouse stories in order to try and get clicks. Zamiasi says, the best striker's Fat Ronaldo. Best fullback Roberto Carlos, says Zamiasi. I mean, Fat Ronaldo I can't really dispute. I think Fat Ronaldo was pretty immense in terms of a number 9. Like, just the strength and the speed and the finishing and everything. If he could have stayed fit, he'd probably have gone down even more as a candidate for the best ever number 9. So I can't really argue with that, to be fair. Fat Ronaldo was amazing. Roberto Carlos, Roberto Carlos was brilliant. Roberto Carlos going forward was a madman as far as wing-backs go. He was absolutely mad going forward. But I've seen better defenders than Roberto Carlos, to be honest. He was absolutely great, though. And who could deny his free kick, set pieces, abilities and stuff as well? He was a joy to watch. But I'm not so sure if I consider Roberto Carlos the best ever wing-back or the best ever full-back, to be honest. But, you know, he's up there. He's up there. I'll give you that. He's up there. Fat Ronaldo was absolutely immense, though, yeah. He's one of the players, one of the few rival players to actually get a standing ovation at Manchester United. Who remembers that guy? Smash one if you remember that, when he come to United and done us. And he was absolutely exceptional, and the Old Trafford faithful gave him a standing O. Remember that? Pretty obscene. Yeah. Ronaldinho, Marco van Basten. Cafu was better than Carlos in your opinion? Yeah, I think so. You're probably on that as well. He was pretty amazing. Good shout. He was fantastic. Should use Zayn as our secret weapon to get rid? I mean, there's been some brilliant ones. Maldini, yeah. I mean, Maldini, I consider him more of a centre-back, but he did play left-back back in the day and stuff. I mean, you know, you've got to consider people like Ashley Cole, Patrice Evra up there as well. Those were absolutely fantastic players. Wing-backs, Dennis Irwin, as we've mentioned, was super underrated. Who else was there, guys? Carlos is in the top few, 100%. He was brilliant. Don't get me wrong, he was brilliant. Mike Hill, now that's something we can agree on, Mike Hill. I think Maldini was a different gravy. He was like, Bisto. He was a different gravy, Paolo Maldini. What an absolute amazing player. Oh, Xavier Zanetti, what a player as well. Great shout, lads and lasses. Yeah, for the wing-back, yeah. He was very versatile as well. Philippe Lahm as well is another one. Philippe Lahm was brilliant. What a player Philippe Lahm was, eh? Absolute Rolls Royce of a player. They could play anywhere, those guys. Mike Hill. Best ever defender, Maldini. I agree. I agree. I think Maldini's in a league of his own, to be fair. That AC Milan side in the 90s was quite unbelievable, and he was just an absolute rock at the back. Super physical, strong, quick, read the game brilliantly, unbelievable tackling. He was absolutely brilliant, wasn't he? Some player. Yeah, Lahm was up there. I agree, Lahm was up there as well. Yep. Esteban Cambiasso. Goodness me. I haven't heard that name for a while. Facts after Maldini is Nesta, says Marken. Nesta was great. Rio the Rolls Royce. Rio was fantastic. Vidic was fantastic. Stam was fantastic. Back when football was better. It's very true there. Lothar Matthäus, what a player as well. Absolutely first-class game. Unbelievable. If we're going back a little bit, how's about a cheeky little bit of Beckenbauer action, guys? You know what I'm saying? If we're going back, you ever see Beckenbauer surging forward, guys, with the ball at his feet from the back there? Unbelievable. Anyway, hey, United, thank you very much for the £2 super chat there, bud. He says, favourite type of potato? Oh, very interesting. I'm going to go for a King Edward, but who doesn't like a Maris Piper as well? You know, Maris Piper are fantastic. I'm going to go King Edward. I'm a King Edward fan, you know. Yeah. Random question of the night goes to United there. Nice one, bro. Love that. Sweet potatoes are great as well, aren't they? Special one. Jarvis Cocker, let's go. It's Jarvis, everybody. What a fucking legend. How you doing tonight, Jarvis Cocker? He says, what do you think of Sancho's performance today? Where does Ten Hag rank him and in which position we currently have an abundance of talented forwards wingers? Right, okay, I honestly thought he was all right, to be honest. I mean, he definitely didn't come on and do anything immense, did he? But he was all right. He's not looked particularly great overall the whole of the pre-season, if you ask me. He's had a couple of decent games, you know, like he did well against Arsenal. He's had a couple of decent games. I just don't think he's in Ten Hag's plans for near the starting 11 right now, which is sad to say when he's a £73 million player who's on 300 odd grand a week. We've got, I think, several players ahead of him on each side. So on the left, Garnacho's the man there, isn't he, at this moment in time? I wouldn't dislodge him from the starting 11. Garnacho looks insane. And Rashford probably will play at striker ahead of Sancho as well, obviously, until Rasmus Hojlund's fit and available. So you got Rashford up top, you got Garnacho on the left. And then when Rasmus is fit and available, it would be Rashford and Garnacho fighting it out for the starting spot on the left-hand side. And then on the right side of the pitch, you've got Antony, who, although he's not really blown me away this preseason, he's effective. He's scoring goals, he's getting assists, he's creating chances. He's effective. And he's better than Jadon in that sense. So I think it's very difficult for Sancho to get into this starting 11 right now. He's going to have to, I don't know, play a bit part role, play a rotationary role, come on the last 25 minutes of the game to replace people like Antony and take his chances if he's going to get a starting spot in the side. So I think he's second choice on the right side. And even like people like Pellistri are nipping at his heels there as well. So I don't know. I mean, Jadon's probably second choice on the right side. He's not, I don't think he's in Ten Hag's initial plans right now for the first team, but he's obviously going to be coming off the bench. He's going to be playing in rotation as well. First class says that Eric Ten Hag is no nonsense type of manager. He won't let players live on reputation. Yes, spot on. Sancho, Garnacho, depending on the weather, says Gattuso. Rashford offers nothing in terms of linking up play. No, okay, yeah, fair enough. But I mean, in regards to when he's out on the left side, he's very effective. He's not the best forward striker, but he again today did well in the second half, didn't he? Got himself a goal and set up that other goal for Cassie. So he was pretty good. Oh shit. Alex Walker, I'm so sorry to hear that, guys. Can we get some mad love in the live chat there for Alex Walker? I'm so sorry to hear that, dude. That's fucking awful, man. Can we get some big love in the live chat there for Alex Walker? Sorry about that, my son. That's terrible. So sorry to hear that, dude. Let's get some mad love in the live chat there for Alex Walker. That's terrible news, bud. Sorry for your loss, man. That's really, really sad. Sorry to hear that, dude. Much love to you. Stay strong. We got your back in this community, my lad. Get in there whenever you want, lad. We'll support you, my friend. Chloe Jenkins, thanks for the super chat here. Thank you very much indeed for getting in here raw with a £5 super chat there. She says, my theory is Donny van de Beek and Sancho were not Ollie's choice, so he ruined them by not playing them. But okay. Oh, right, you mean Ollie. Yeah. He did play Sancho, though. He did play Sancho quite a bit. I agree, he didn't really give chances to Donny van de Beek hardly at all. That is true, Chloe. I think that's fair to say, you know. But Sancho, he did play Sancho quite a lot. But maybe that's an interesting point. I definitely agree with you on Donny. He didn't want Donny. That was just, he was just bought out from above him. They just bought Donny because they thought, oh, he's a good signing for the price. And I don't even think he did actually want him, Ollie. So I think you're spot on, really. Fair point. That's a fair point. And obviously Sancho was already sort of like preordained to come in, wasn't he? So that's a fair point. Hey, much love to you, Alex Walker. Yeah, it's so horrible losing a loved one, man. I mean, I've had to go through it recently with my mum and, my dad a few years ago. I know exactly what you're going through. Obviously not brother, but, you know, I know what you're experiencing, the feeling of grief, and it is proper shite, lad. Get some love hearts in the live chat for you, Alex. Things I hope get better for you, my man. It's obviously going to be a tough time. Definitely. Deepest sympathies to Alex Walker. Berber, what's going on, you legend? Says Ollie couldn't find his ass with both hands, to be fair. That's because he's so skinny. But, you know, actually, not so sure. I think Ollie still did a decent job for a couple of years at United. It's easy to say, in hindsight, that he shat the bed because his last season was a calamity. But he had a good couple of years, didn't he? He did all right for us. I actually really enjoyed those days with Ollie at the wheel to begin with, when we were getting better and we were progressing with Ollie. I must admit, I liked those days. I thought we were, you know, going places, but obviously turned out that he didn't. He's not a technical guy, Ollie. That's the problem. Not a technical manager. Ten Hag's a technical tactician of a manager. Very, very astute, very clever in that regard. Ollie's more of like, I don't know, like a caretaker almost, but like a permanent one that we had for a couple of years where he's just like overseeing everyone, motivating people, being best buds with everyone, trying to make a nice environment for everyone. It's not the same as having an authoritarian who's a tactician like Ten Hag. Ten Hag's obviously a much better manager, much better. Ollie's the only permanent manager post-Fergie who didn't win a trophy despite outspending all the others. Yeah, but he was like, what, a couple of kicks away from that. Think about that Europa League final. We lost on penalties. You know, come on, that could have gone either way, and then he's the Europa League champion. So I think that's a little bit harsh because he could have won that. We literally lost that game on pens. David De Gea shat it, if you remember. Other than that, that would have been a Europa League European trophy that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had won us. So fine margins. I know what you mean. People just look at the history books and say this is what we won. But really, we were one kick away from winning that Europa League. So, nah, I don't know about that. I think he's all right. Ten Hag's a red, mate. Ten Hag's a red. Right, let's do a quick rundown of what we discussed in this video, guys. Then I'm going to get into the live chat again for a bit more of a Q&A. So just to let you guys know, the Sofyan Amrabat stuff, we talked about it for the first 20 minutes of the show. But if you're just getting in here, you probably missed it. As always, keep hitting the thumbs up button and smash the subscribe if you're new, and stick around for the Q&A. Go and give us a retweet. It's pinned to the top of the live chat. Smash that cheeky link at the top and give us a retweet, and I'll shout you out in a minute. But before we do, I'm just going to run down everything we've discussed. So, the Sofyan Amrabat situation is it's hotting up nicely. Man United are expected to go in there for a bid very soon once we've sold either Donny or Fred or both. Sky and various other outlets are reporting that Fiorentina midfielder Sofyan Amrabat already has an agreement in place with Manchester United and is now waiting for them to make an official bid for him, which is obviously brilliant. Fabrizio Romano via YouTube has basically said that Man United are going through the necessary steps at this moment in time. To quote him, he said they're following their steps. Hojlund in, then players out, Fred, Van der Beek. There will be negotiations between the clubs only when United sell Fred and Van der Beek. This is something that is set up for the clubs, with many clubs looking for midfielders around Europe. Something can happen. So we want to clear out the excess players in that midfield and get them off our books, and then hopefully go and bid. It's reported that Sofyan Amrabat bid is expected very, very soon. As I've mentioned, he's already agreed to join Manchester United. And here's another report that says that we are in a really hot days for Sofyan Amrabat to Manchester United. Amrabat has agreed his contract at United, and the official bid to Fiorentina is coming. It's expected to be 25 million euros plus bonuses. And as we've mentioned, Fiorentina have reportedly named their price, and they're looking for around about 30 million euros in order to sell the player, which is very reasonable, very good price for us. And here's a report from MEN that says the Italian media have claimed that Fiorentina have named their price for the midfielder Sofyan Amrabat. It's around about 30 million euros. Perhaps we'll end up paying 35 million euros with add-ons, but somewhere in that region, 30 to 35 million euros to get Sofyan Amrabat sounds absolutely pucker me, old muckers. So that's very close. It's progressing. We just got to sell a player, and then we can go in for a bid with Sofyan Amrabat. And as we've mentioned, reports coming out far and wide now that he has agreed a deal at United, or essentially agreed to join us. That is the latest of the evening's reports on Sofyan Amrabat. Also, Edson Alvarez is a target for West Ham. They submitted a bid earlier on. Don't know if it's going to get accepted. Maybe they'll reject it. Maybe they'll ask for more. Maybe they'll price West Ham out the move. Maybe he'll end up going somewhere else. But at this moment in time, West Ham are interested in Edson Alvarez, midfielder, which does decrease the likelihood slightly that they might come in for Scotty McTominay, but they are understood to still have interest in Scott McTominay and be keen on the signing. Same goes for Harry Maguire. And as for Harry Maguire, it's understood that United are not prepared to force these players out of the football club by, making them train in reserves and spurning them and all that that sort of stuff. So, who knows? We might need these players as backups at some point. I don't think we need Maguire. We could certainly go and spend the money that he costs us on another player. But McTominay, if we sell Donny and Fred, we may end up keeping McTominay just because it's extra reinforcements as and when we need it as a backup. But that's down to Scott McTominay and Maguire, whether or not they want to be backups at the football club or whether or not they want to go elsewhere and play regular football. So those two still up in the air, whether or not West Ham or another club maybe will come in and have a bid for them. They are expensive players, not just transfer fee-wise, but wages-wise, particularly Maguire. And because of West Ham's move for Edson Alvarez, maybe McTominay not so high up the list anymore, but hopefully they still want him. They have got money to spend at this moment in time. Also, Eric Bailly, there's a couple of different bids from Saudi Arabia that's reported to have been received by Manchester United. Take it with a pinch of salt, but at this moment, Man United have received 2 bids for the Saudi Pro League for Eric Bailly. They're interested in bringing him in. He's a cheap player. They could probably have him for 5, 6, 7 mil, somewhere in that region. Similar sort of price to what we got for Alex Telles. So we may well be seeing the end of Eric Bailly very soon at this football club. Also, Bayern still waiting for an answer from Levy and Spurs in regards to Harry Kane. So Levy's gone on holiday, so he's left them on red. Spurs also at this moment are looking at this other player. They're supposed to be interested in Jonathan David, but they also have this guy Alejo Veliz lined up. He will undergo medical tests as new Tottenham player early next week. Then he will sign a 5-year deal. Documents are being processed by Spurs and Rosario Central for Argentine transfer striker to be completed. So, that just adds a bit more fuel to the flame, maybe, that they are thinking about getting ready to sell Harry Kane, and they're looking at other forwards as well. Mohamed Kudus is a target for Brighton and Hove Albion. They've actually submitted a bid to Ajax for 40 million euros, he is a United target. And David Ornstein says that Brighton and Hove have reached an agreement in principle with Ajax to buy Mohamed Kudus for 40 million euros. 23-year-old Ghana international is close to an agreement on personal terms. The deal's not fully done, but the key is De Zerbi. He's a key De Zerbi target and would be Brighton's record signing of all time. So he's a player that was linked to Manchester United. It would be nice to see if we could perhaps get him in, but I don't think we will hijack the deal at this stage, but you never know. And then finally, Manchester United still linked with this Brazilian lad, Leonardo, who is supposedly a good player. I haven't seen too much of him, but what I have seen, he looks good. But again, he's probably quite cheap. I've heard reports maybe 15 million euros would get this guy in. And here's another report that says, despite having already agreed a deal for Hojlund, United still remain interested in bringing in more attacking options, with reports from Italy detailing that they are very vigilant about the situation surrounding Leonardo. So Leonardo's another target for Manchester United as well, hopefully. And hopefully maybe we could get him in. He does sound pretty good. He looks good. Looks like a good player. Doesn't cost that much money either in the grand scheme of things. So potentially we could get ourselves a good find there, hopefully. So that's the latest transfer news. Thank you very much for subscribing, Lieutenant Mitch B. Get in there. If you guys are new like Lieutenant Mitch B, hit the subscribe button. I'll get into the Q&A in a sec. I'm just going to go over to Twitter at the top of the chat there and shout all the retweeters out. Thanks everyone who retweets the show. It does help this channel out loads. And we've had 25 retweets and 2 quoted retweets. Bloody hell, guys. That's, I think, getting up there for the most ever. Thank you so much to Guyam Legend. That's very nice of you, mate. Thank you very much to Kieran Watts as well. Thank you for retweeting the show, guys. Quoting retweet, I should say. And then we've got another 26 retweets on top of that, guys. Now we've got a retweet from Aaron Homeyard, Anthony Ong, ADV, United Mark, Adam Hanif, Stephen Braun, D Tycoon, Jaden, Kieran, Transfers_UTD, Michael, John Boy Cat, Kane, Richard Wisterpeck, Michael Paul, Andy Davidge, the Mario 55 Eric, Vincent Bullock, Feline Fur, Andy Bell, Kieran Mallion, Coach LGBT, Jarvis Cocker, Trey's Way, Cal L, Michael Walsh, and Boomy. Thank you, legends, very much indeed. That's a lot, guys. That's a lot of retweets there. Thank you, each and every one of you guys, for helping spread the word of the show. That is much appreciated, and it definitely helps this channel out. So thank you, everyone. Get in there. Right, let's get into the live chat for a bit of a Q&A then, guys. Happy Saturday night. Let's be having you. Skive hard, play hard. No one works Saturday night. Duncan Bolifo, thank you for being a member for 1 year, my son. Oh, yes. Get a cake in there, guys. He's been a member for a year. Happy anniversary, Duncan. He says a year, and what a year it's been at United. Hey, Duncan, thank you very much. It has actually been a better year for United, hasn't it? We won a trophy, Ten Hag at the wheel, getting us places that we want to be striving towards. But still, Glazer Shithouse is currently here. It's not perfect, but it has been a bit of a better year at United, mate. I'm with you there. We're starting to sign the right sort of players as well. Would I have Son at United? I'm guessing you mean Son Heung-min. That's not how you spell Son. He's actually spelled S-O-N, but I think you mean Son Heung-min. Would I have him at United? I'll be honest with you. I would put my hands down my trousers and pull out my left bollock in order to get Son Heung-min at United, mate. I think he's a class act of a player. Actually, I wouldn't do that, guys. That's a bit obscene, isn't it? I definitely wouldn't do that. But I would definitely have him at the football club. Where do I get these things from, guys? How do I come out with things like that? I apologise. Apologise for my disgusting comment there. You know what I mean? But I would absolutely take Son Heung-min at this football club. What an absolute baller. You love him, says Edward Reed. He is wasted at Spurs. And he's like a weirdo, isn't he? He's like super loyal to Spurs. Like, even though they're shite, he wants to stay and stuff. He's off his tits, the guy. You was as sometimes in the cubicle in the bogs at work, I shout, tune in to Flying Pig United, you fools. Are you serious? What? Mate, thank you. Thank you, Duke of Rodtown. Oh, that's very nice of you, dude. Thank you very much, Duke of Rodtown. I appreciate that. Much love to you. Much love to you. We don't need wingers. Nah, we don't need wingers. But listen, Son's better than all of our wingers, just to put it out there. Son, he's better than everybody. I mean, if we could actually get, you know, I'd bench Rashford for Son. I honestly genuinely think Son's immense. Son is absolutely immense. Plus, he can actually play up front as well. But Son's just generally immense. So I think Son is the most underrated player within the Premier League. Genuinely think he's one of the world's best players, actually. Vincent Bullock says, Pig, if you had to send free spirits on the Glazers to make them change their ways and sell the club, who would be the ghost of the past, the ghost of the present, the ghost of the future? Wow, okay, I'm going to say the ghost of the past would be Sir Matt Busby coming in to tell him to fuck off, basically, in an old school fashion and say, hey, this is what we went through, looking Munich air disasters and rebuilding the side, and EU wankers are exploiting us. He could be the ghost of Christmas past. The ghost of present? Let's get Roy Keane to go and headbutt these wankers. You know what I mean? Let's go and get Roy Keane to fucking headbutt the shit out of these melts. And the coach of the future? Coach of the future? Coach of the future. Why does he have to be a coach? Do you mean ghost? Ghost of the future. I think let's go with Harry Maguire in 20 years. So he can tell them, he can look back and say that, you know, he accomplished absolutely nothing and they wasted their money. He's a fucking bag of shite. Let's go with that, Vincent Bullock. Thank you very much for getting in there with that, dude. Jarvis says, who do you think will be next on Ten Hag's chopping block? Dallo or Wan-Bissaka? Do you predict the club signing a new right back? Not in this window, I don't think we will, Jarvis, actually. Sadly, I think it is a position we need to worry about, isn't it? Wan-Bissaka and Dallo's arguably not enough, particularly when you see Dallo making mistakes like today. But I think Wan-Bissaka's proven himself in 2023 so far, what a great player he's been for Ten Hag. So I think he's number one choice right now, and I'm happy with Wan-Bissaka. But Dallo gives you something else. He's better going forward, but he's crap at defending, I think. I would like to address that position at some point, but I wouldn't necessarily think it has to be done right now this summer. I think there's other areas of the team I'd still rather improve. But absolutely, the right back is a place we could improve. That's a place we can improve. So yeah, good comment. Manchester can be cloudy though, says Madhouse. You have CR7 withdrawals. Keane or Son's class, he doesn't hit his girlfriend. Oh, Chris Barker. Well, okay, fair enough. Son needs another club, says Simon Warner. He should be a target for United, shouldn't he? He's unbelievable. But he loves Spurs. He's mental, that guy. He's got a real blind loyalty to Spurs. You don't see it often these days. I mean, a year or two ago, he signed another long-term contract with them, didn't he? He could have gone. He could have, done what Kane's doing and forced his way out of the club eventually. But he signed a new deal, even though they're perennial bottle merchants and don't win anything. Mike Hill, thank you very much, bud, for getting in with another super chat, lad. Ooh. He says, who will be our signing of the season? Mike Hill, thanks very much for your comment there, bud. Right, I'm going to be positive. I'm actually going to say, I think it will be Andre Onana. I know that people are probably expecting me to say Rasmus Hojlund there. I think Rasmus Hojlund will have a good season. I think he'll grow and develop into a good player over the coming season, definitely. And he is already a very good player. And he's coming in to make a difference for us. But I actually think Andre Onana might surprise a few people. People are slagging him off for a couple of times he's been chipped in pre-season, which means nothing. I think Andre Onana's got the potential to transform the way that we play more so than any of the players that we've signed because of how different he is to what we had before. So I'm going for Andre Onana, but I really hope I'm right there because I would hate to see him have a flop of a season. That'd be a nightmare. United takeover, Eric. It's just a case of Manchester United. It's understood that Sheikh Jassim is leading the race at this moment in time for the bid. It's just more guff that's come out this evening from various publications that says that Sheikh Jassim is leading the race at the minute. That's all it is, and there's an expectation that they'll resolve it in November. So, take it with a pinch of salt. We're not covering it too much because it is just literally more of the same old shite. It's like on and off. It's Jassim, then it's a Jim. It's just, apparently Sheikh Jassim's leading the charge, mate, and Qatar are more likely to win the bidding. It's not really that much news, is it? Amrabat could be the sign of the season. Onana. Oh, yes, love Onana's interviews. Love what he said after the game today about playing at Old Trafford. Son is 31, but what a player, though. You have listened to Tupac. Tupac's immense. Love Tupac. One of the best. My favourite rapper. Hojlund, Greenwood, Bench, Rashford, Sancho, Anthony. Fuck Son. Yeah, well, we're not going to ever get Son. There's no point even talking about Son. But Son is better than all of them, if you ask me. At the moment, these players that you've mentioned have the potential to go on and be some of the world's best players. Literally, all those players you've mentioned are young and amazing. On the transfer supermarket, we need to put players on 5 items or less to be sold. Even Lizzo fat-shaming her dancers. How can she do that? That's like Slabo going up to someone and saying, hey, you've got a head like the Elephant Man, mate. You know what I mean? How can she do that? Ryan says, not saying we are perfect defensively, but most clean sheets in the Prem wasn't for nothing, whereas teams in the bottom half had more goals than us. Yeah, fair enough. Most clean sheets. I mean, certainly Newcastle United conceded the least goals as well. But Manchester United did have a reasonably good defensive. Like you say, David De Gea got the most clean sheets. Tupac, what a dude, says Paul Ennis. Great rapper, mate. So sad for you, young blood. I sent him back man going to sing with our old Reds. You what, Night Whisper lad? Son is class. Well, I love De Gea, mate. I still love De Gea. I'm not going to pretend. I like what Onana's about. He will change the way that we play, changes the dynamic of how we play up from the back, big time. And I like that. But in some ways, he's going to be worse than De Gea in terms of like the shot stopping. Who's as good as De Gea at shot stopping? Also, like, would you see De Gea getting chipped twice in pre-season like Onana did? Probably not. I'm not saying it's Onana's fault today because it wasn't really. But just the nature of the guy, the way that he plays his football, the fact that he is far out, it invites that possibility onto the team. But hopefully he gives us more going forward, and that's the trade-off that we have to make. Gattuso, what's up with Mason Mount? He's just overrated as hell, isn't he? Somebody commented on my post earlier saying you're already using Mason Mount as a punching bag. It's like, I'm not. I've always used him as a punching bag for 3 years. Before he was at Chelsea, I've always said he's overrated, for fuck's sake. Just so happens we've signed him now. People think I'm slagging him off just for the sake of it. I'm not. I've always thought he's guff. That's my opinion of him. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he's amazing for United. But I've always said that for years, guys. If you've been here around this show, I've always said that Mason Mount's one of the most overrated players in the league, long before Man United had been linked with him. De Gea is the best shot stopper. Absolutely agreed. Look, let's just hope. Look, again, Onana, Mason Mount, these guys, they're only human. They're just getting in the club. They're just bedding in. They need time. They need to adapt to Ten Hag's system and their teammates and the surroundings, and they will do that. Mount will have a good season, I think, for Manchester United. Surely Ten Hag's going to get the best out of Mason Mount. He wouldn't have spent 60 million on the guy if he wasn't pretty convinced that he can do the job for him, But yes, Onana likes to be far out, Gattuso. I think he'll adapt a little bit as the team takes shape. But you can't fundamentally change the way he plays too extremely. That's the sort of player that he is. Right, get your thoughts in, guys. Going to read a couple more comments out. We've been on here for nearly an hour and 40 minutes, so I won't be on here too much longer, but get a couple more comments in. I'm enjoying the chat. Noto says, I think Ten Hag knows what he's doing with Mount. Yeah, true. Will prove to be a fruitful and pivotal signing. I think you're right, Notos. I've got faith in Eric. Give them time. The season hasn't started, says Neil Gilbert. Ten Hag desperately needs to get us scoring goals. We need Rasmus and Mount to be very effective and productive. Yes, absolutely agreed. The sun has got his hat on. Hip, 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 hooray. You what there, Dimmy Maiden? I don't know much about him, actually. We got from Nuremberg. Any good? I don't know much about him, actually, no. Paul Ennis, get in there, my son. Loving the chat tonight, guys. We've had it's on at 4:30, is it? The Diaz-Jake Paul fight. I'm not staying up for that shite, mate. Nah, bollocks to that. Definitely not. I'll watch that shit tomorrow for free on YouTube, mate. Or something. Matthew says, McTominay injured? All these people who never kicked the ball talking about goalkeeper positioning is fucking hilarious. Well, Palmarius, I mean, I used to play in goal when I was a youth footballer. And, you know, I personally think you don't need to be Gordon Banks to give your opinion on goalkeeper positioning. I mean, I'll just say, when I used to play in goal, the game's different and Onana's a different type of keeper. When I used to play in goal, I was not the type of goalkeeper that would like to come outside of his area very much. I did come out sometimes, but I was more of a De Gea type goalkeeper who's I rush out when they get close to you, basically, and close down the angle that way. But I'm not coming out and sweeping up necessarily really high up. And I also wasn't, you know, playmaking. Now, I know youth football, playing for some shitty youth team, is totally different to, you know, big-time professional football in the Premier League. But everybody's entitled to their opinion, Palmarius. And who's to say that, you know, it's a wrong opinion? I don't think necessarily it is a wrong opinion, but everybody's entitled to their opinion, lad. Piggy loves coming out. Oh, yes. You was a goalie, says Neil Gilbert and Dimmy Maiden. Get in there, my son. Exactly, no toes. But, you know, Neville Southall, what a keeper. What a great keeper. United says, who wins in a race between Voot and Maguire? I think Harry Maguire just. Who knows, but it would be an awful race. You think, thank you, United, for the super chats. Get some love in there. Mike says, I think Onana will slightly adjust his positioning due to our bad passing mistakes. It's on our team to not make these mistakes as well and not show him up. Of course, if Dalot didn't make that mistake, Onana does not concede. So Dalot's made Onana look a bit of a tit today. It's not even Onana's fault, really. The Vootinator says we've got 233 likes. Thank you, Vooty, for the likes tally, brother. Smash the likes. Help us get to 250 likes. I don't know why people are writing him off, though, Palmarius. It's pretty mad. It is pretty mad. He's going to have a good season. He's looking really good. He's been chipped. This one today wasn't his fault. The last one, arguably, he had a bit more to do with it. But against Real Madrid, that one I mean. But also, you know, once he's got that understanding with his defence, they'll have more of an idea of what they're all doing and when. So yeah, extra piggy. Oh yes, guys. Put an exclamation mark XTRA in the live chat, guys. I'm going to pin that to the top of the live chat at the end of the show. Actually, no, I'm not, but you can follow the XTRS show. What I'm going to do is pin the watch-along to the top of the live chat. So we've got a watch-along set up, peeps, for 3:30 p.m. tomorrow. The game is on at 4 p.m. kickoff. Man United versus Athletic Bilbao. That's going to be a good game over in Dublin. We're probably playing with our second string set of players, to be perfectly honest, just because of the team lineup being very strong today. We've got 10 likes over on the watch along right now. Do us a massive favour, everybody, and go and smash a cheeky like on this stream right here, guys. I've set the watch along up. It's set up for 3:30 p.m. tomorrow. Please do come and join us tomorrow afternoon. We'll be back on watching the game. You know, all of you legends are welcome to come and get involved and watch the game with us, or if you're unable to watch it, we'll let you know what's going on. Simon says, score predictions. Let's go get some score predictions in. Because we're playing potentially a second string, I'm going for 2-1 to United. 2-1 to United tomorrow, Simon. But there it is right there. The watch-alongs in the chat, guys. I'll pin it to the top of the live chat. It's now at the top of the chat. Go over and click that at the end of the video, and please do smash that like button. Every like will help the stream out and boost us up on the old YouTube search, etc. So make sure you go over there and smash the like at the end of this vid. It's free, and that will help us out. Also, make sure you do smash the like on this video and subscribe to this channel if you're new to this channel. Click the bell icon. Follow us on the Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, Kick, all those places at Flying Pig United, my friends. What a great chat tonight, guys. Happy bloody Saturday. I've enjoyed it. Cracking show, guys. Each and every one of you. Thank you so much, lads and lasses, for getting in here. Cracking show as always. Lots of good score predictions coming in as well. We'll get beat, says 88, 2-2, 1-0, 3-2, 3-2, 1-all draw, 0-0, 3-1 Bilbao. Bilbao, no mugs. They're no mugs. 4-0, says Duncan. 3-1. 3-1-all. B team were losing, says United 90. 3-0, 3-2. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that, Johnny M. Dodgy shite, mate. 2-0. Heavyweight boxing's a bit gash at the minute, isn't it? We will see Ander Herrera again. Yeah, 3-1. 3-0, 3-0. Jarvis Cocker's going 3-0. Police hat-trick. I love that, mate. Dude, imagine that. We're going to call you Mystic Jarvis if that comes true. Get in there, you Dons and Donesses. I appreciate you all watching. Thank you, guys and girls, for tuning in. Appreciate you all. Everybody, do us a favour and come back after this video's finished. Get your thoughts and opinions in about anything we've discussed. As I say, go over to the watch-along. I'll put it in the chat again there. There's the link to the watch-along. Go over and smash a like on it at the end of the stream, guys. That will help us out big time. But we are going to have to wrap this stream up. It's approaching midnight, and it's we've been on here for 90 minutes in 5 seconds' time. Now we have been on for 90 minutes. And that is the length of a game of football. Actually, we've been on for an hour and 40 minutes. That's 100 minutes. We've been on for a Qatar World Cup game of football. Bloody hell. That's a long time, guys. We're talking about the news, isn't it? Crikey. Stoppage time. Exactly, Ryan. Yeah, we've been on for a Qatar World Cup game of football right there. That's a long time. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. You have a great night. Piggy loves you. Thanks for watching. And we'll be back tomorrow with the watch-along. Come and join us at 3:30 p.m, everybody. We'll be back then going in there raw. Stay classy. Thanks for tuning in. See you on the next one. Follow us on all those places. Like, subscribe, comment. Go over and smash the like on the watch-along. You know it makes sense. Good night, everybody. That's it from me. See you tomorrow. Come on, United. And we'll cover all the news tomorrow as well. Thank you for tuning in, guys. God bless you all. Have a wonderful evening. And I'll see you tomorrow. Stay classy. And remember, when the seagulls follow the trawler, as this is because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much.